Why, hello there, fellow fish nerds. And fish nerds that are possibly also sports fans in America. Happy Super Bowl Sunday. Myself, I am not one of those sports fans. I honestly will not be watching the Super Bowl tonight. I do not enjoy watching sports. I would much rather watch a nature documentary or a documentary on Netflix or one of your videos on YouTube. Much rather watch that any day over the Super Bowl. I used to watch the Super Bowl for the commercials, but considering you can watch all the commercials on YouTube, well, then I don't need to watch the Super Bowl. So, what I will be doing tonight at the Super Bowl is I will be going to a friend's house for a Super Bowl party where I will not be watching the Super Bowl. It's actually a friend who is not a fish nerd, and there will actually not be any other fish nerds there, which is difficult because it means I can't talk about fish without being made fun of and called a fish nerd and eyes rolling and sighing like, here we go again. But hey, I don't care about being called a fish nerd. It's a compliment. I give it out as a compliment. I receive it as a compliment. But anyways, while I'm at this party, you might ask, well, why are you going to a Super Bowl party tonight if you're not going to watch the Super Bowl? Well, I'm going to socialize and I'm going to eat. I like eating, obviously. That's where the second chin comes from. Actually, that's Mountain Dew. And it's where this, this right here comes from. Not Texas, but my gut. Well, everything's bigger in Texas, and this is bigger under Texas, apparently. But anyways, that was a lame joke. I'm going to eat some food because I will be making my favorite dip, one of my favorite dips, which is the Velveeta Rotel and sausage dip that is tasty on hot dogs, dipping chips in it and eating it by a spoon. The problem I have is just thinking about the fact that Velveeta is solid at room temperature, and yet I melt it down and then eat large quantities of it, and then what happens to it inside of my body. It's kind of scared to think about that. Scary to think about that. Anyways, I digress. A lot. Always. So, tonight I will not be watching the Super Bowl. What do I wish I was watching? I wish I was watching, not the Puppy Bowl, though it's cute and everything, but you can only watch so many times of puppies running around. It's cool that the puppies get adopted and stuff. That's cool. But a few years ago, Nat Geo Wild came out with this thing called the Fish Bowl, which I got really excited about. And I thought it was going to be super awesome. I thought it was going to be, fish playing football somehow, maybe Oscars or something, playing with ping pong balls. That's what they do, or largemouth bass that are in people. I don't know. But the first year, it let me down a lot. It was goldfish in bowls in random locations with music. And I actually watched it, the whole thing. I recorded it on my DVR. The following year, I think it was other types of fish tanks in random locations with music. And I watched the whole thing on my DVR. And then the following year, it was a saltwater tank. And then the following year, the fourth year, it was this large saltwater tank, looked to be like a 29-gallon, maybe a little bit, that's not large, I know, but where they had this fake invisible ball. Well, it's a real invisible, it's not fake invisible. It was really invisible, going back and forth, and these announcers were talking about this invisible ball going back and forth as if they were playing a game. Also disappointing. This past year, I got rid of cable, so I'm not able to watch the Fish Bowl, though I'm pretty sure it never lived up to the standards, the ideas that I had. The first year that they had the Fish Bowl, I actually tweeted Nat Geo Wild, which they never replied, of course. And I called them out and said that I was going to do better than their Fish Bowl the following year. Well, we know that never happened. It is one of my goals, though, is to make my own Fish Bowl and make it super awesome, much more entertaining than the Super Bowl. And I will get there. Obviously not tonight, because if it was tonight, then trust me, you'd know about it. You'd be seeing it a live stream. It'd be super awesome, super nerdy, and I'd be super excited. But so maybe next year, maybe you all will inspire me and kind of give me the shove to, hey, go do that next year. Well, what is it, you ask? Well, I might reveal it later in a later video. Anyways, on to tonight's video. Tonight's video is the story of a lovely lady. No, just kidding. It's just me. It's not lovely or lady. But it's a story of me and how I was able to get some free fish on Aquabid. How, you might ask? Stay tuned. Find out. Gotta watch the whole thing. It's a whole story. All the spoiler alert. It ends with you wanting more. It's Mr. Science Geek. I hope my tanks don't leak. If it's information that you seek, be sure to tune in each week. And my videos take a peek. My singing and my jokes really reek. So here is how I actually got the money to be able to buy fish on Aquabid for free. It didn't cost me anything out of pocket. Just called the Dosh app. You see it has offers at various places that are local and online. This is showing the amount that I have gotten back, including how much I've cashed into PayPal, which is how you actually get the money. Here's a referral code. It is if you sign up, you get $5. I get $5. The link is dosh.cash/rich2. I'll put a link to that down below my description. At this point, I have $21.58. Once I get to $25, I can cash out again to my PayPal, which would be great. So just one person signs up, then I will be able to cash out at $25. I'd really appreciate that. It'd be super awesome. You see, here are the places that are local that they give 5% into your Dosh wallet, and then you can cash out once you get 25 into your PayPal account. It does link with a credit card, but like I said, I've been using it for over a year and I have not had any issues. I feel it is very safe. So I went from YouTube to Aquabid, of course. Which, by the way, has anyone else been having problems with Aquabid recently? Like sometimes it just won't load at all. According to Bob from Steenfod Aquatics, said it's a DDoS attack, which it looks like it's getting a little bit better. But over the past few weeks, it was frustrating. But a few weeks ago, obviously, I went on Aquabid and I had this money in my PayPal account that was just burning a hole in my PayPal account. And so I realized that I didn't really want anything on eBay, but I definitely wanted some fish. So I looked at my usual areas. I looked at let's see, what are some of the things I look at? I look at catfish. I look at some different plecos. See what's out there. Of course, we all look towards the L46 plecos, but uh, a pack of 40 of them at $4,100 is a little bit out of our price range, and short fin male blue eyes, and lots of choices here. Super red plecos, already have some of those. Super red longfin bristlenose, that's nice. Oh, $200 out of the price range. Wouldn't really be considered as free if I was to do that. Always a little bit nervous about shipping from the West Coast, so although I love the inventory the Wet Spot has, don't really like to get things from them on Aquabid. So another place I like to look on Aquabid is I like to look for Neolamprolongus similis. Well, there's Maltese, and that's also worldwide. Had to go through a transshipper. No fun. Ricardi, daffodils. There's another page, but still, you get the point here. And one more place I look. Of course, I look in the look in the Epistos. At least I used to look in the Epistos a lot. I find it funny that the German blue rams are in here. Electric blue ram with one. It's pickup. One pair. Electric blue ram. That's $10. That's definitely in the price range. Trifasciata. That's a pretty Episto. Man, these prices are a lot better than what I remember when I was looking. Oh, it's a wet spot once again. I really don't get nervous about shipping from the West Coast. I mean, that's kind of far. So look at the Epistos, and one more place I look. Look at the live bearers. I always look at the wild type. I look for the Montezuma swordtail, Xiphosaurus Maya. That's the Mayan swordtail. Nope, none here. This is the wild type of live bearers, so no Montezuma swordtails there. And then I look under the domesticated just for the fun of it. Koi swordtails, those are always nice. Unusual cord. What's so unusual about them, I wonder? Anyways, and of course, I always end up looking at the guppies because they're their own separate live bearers. Man, what's $125? Don't even know what that would be for a guppy, but 120. Premium albino Dumbo mosaic. Oh, it's worldwide too. See, I don't want to ship from worldwide. So, anyways, I came on here and did some shopping and did some comparison and shopped around, looked around. Any other fish I look at? Sometimes I look at some betas, some I guess you call them wild types, what they're under. We look at here because I used to have the beta. Um, shoot, what is it? Why can't I think of what they are? Anyways, look at the betas, the different types on there, but they're all worldwide from like Indonesia. And I don't feel like going through a trench ever. So anyways, I did some shopping around and looking around, and I finally found some fish that I really wanted, and that was at a good price, and which included shipping. And it was in the U.S. and it's not on the West Coast, and it was a fish I wanted. And of course, PayPal is accepted at Aquabid, and went had the screen up ready to go, and I went to go do a water change. And as I was doing the water change, I thought, I got a weird feeling that I bet right now those fish I was looking at just sold. Finished up my water change. I came back. I reloaded the page, and sure enough, the sale had ended. Someone bought it at the buy it now price. I was like, oh, I was so bummed out. So I emailed the sellers and said, hey, do you still have any more of these? I thought it was a great deal. I liked them. I liked your offer. And they replied back, I think within a few hours actually. And they said, yes, we do still have them. We have a pretty um, large tank full of them. And we would be willing to sell you some at the same price, including shipping. And I replied, great, I'm definitely interested. I just, here in Virginia, over these next few weeks, it's going to be below freezing and very, uh, actually below freezing, like Arctic, Arctic blast, whatever, polar vortex cold. And I don't feel comfortable with having the fish shipped
here. Could I pay and then notify you and give you a few days notice before the week that I would like them to be shipped to make sure that they arrive as safely as possible?" And they replied with, "Sure, that sounds good. We can definitely do that. Just give us a few days notice." So I said, "Okay." So week one, it was polar vortex temperatures. Week two, it was pretty close to polar vortex temperatures. So I was thinking about the fish and I was looking at the weather and trying to see when there was going to be a warm week. And in the distant future on the forecast, it was forecasted to be in the 60s for like a few days from what I could see on the 10-day forecast. So, to find out the rest of this story, be sure to tune in tomorrow for the continuation of my February fish vlogs. Stay tuned and stay fishy, people.